This line right here, I think, is the most important line of the speech.
That's not going to happen. We're going to do whatever it takes to fix our roads, bridges, and highways. We're going to take back our parks, not just for children, but for everybody. We're going to renovate New York's subway system so it no longer looks like it hasn't been cleaned since 1932, but rather it will be the most beautiful transit system anywhere in the world. I don't know if you know it. It's by far the biggest infrastructure, subway infrastructure in the world, and we're going to make it by far the biggest, and now we're going to make it by far the best. We're going to make it beautiful again. And a lot of it is topical. You know, the expensive work people don't understand because they're not in construction. It's topical work. It's topical. It's built. The expensive, the hard, the labor, the money, the big stuff is done. We're going to make it beautiful. We're going to make it good. And most importantly, we're going to let New York's finest do its job. The transit cops do their job. We're going to make it safe. Most importantly. And importantly for the people that are before me today, we are going to make life in New York affordable again. It's gotten totally out of control. The minute crooked Joe Biden shuffles out the door, I will rapidly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. Look, we had the greatest economy in history. Everybody here, where you have a small business or if you had a job, you were getting more than you ever made. And we had no inflation. We had no 1.4%, considered none, considered better than none, because frankly, none in its own way is a bad thing also. We had a perfect number, 1.4%.
Here's the line.
It doesn't matter whether you're black or brown or white or whatever the hell color you are, it doesn't matter. We are all Americans, and we're going to pull together as Americans.
That's it. That's the line. Just keep saying that over and over and over again, and Trump will be, as he always could have been, the united candidate. I daydream every once in a while about the alternative universe where the Democrats decided to be normal, and in 2016, just give it a shot, see what happens. You know, it's like, sure, he wasn't our guy, but I don't know. This is kind of fun too. And see what they could have figured out and worked out and made some deals, and we could have been a normal country. We really could have been. But instead they decided to just go crazy. Trump did this whole thing about things he's done in New York. He talked about Woolman Rink in New York City. It's a great story. No time to play it right now. Maybe we can do it some other time. But I found this local news report from 1986 when the rink opened up. Listen to how jovial and happy and everyone is about Donald Trump.
Well, many people thought the skating rink in Central Park was abandoned, but now there is something to cheer about. The Wallman Skating Rink in Central Park is open again. The city spent nearly 6 years and $12 million trying to fix it, and then to the rescue, developer Donald Trump. As Tracy Egan tells us now, he accomplished in 3.5 months what the city couldn't do in 6 years.
Okay, right? So Trump told that story. It was great when he told it. That's why my mom loved Donald Trump. My mom loved Donald Trump. She lived in New York City, Long Island. She loved Donald Trump. She loved The Apprentice. And then Trump runs for president, and he's the worst person in the whole world. So, I get this mentality. But I think, what if in 2016 Democrats are like, well, I don't know. See how it goes. Right? This could have been an incredible moment of unity. But instead, they decided to go down the path of Trump's an absolute monster and bigot and racist and anti-Semite somehow now. And they're the ones who divided our country. And that was a decision. That was a conscious decision, all because their gal lost. But all Trump has to say over and over now is it doesn't matter what the heck color you are. It doesn't matter what the heck color you are. Over and over. That's so just defeats and deflates all of it. All right. This may be one of my favorite asides. It's one of my favorite anecdotes. I think it starts right here.
The safest border in history. We were going to put up within a period of 3 weeks. It was all built, laying there, ready to be put up, designed by the Border Patrol, who are incredible people, ICE, who are incredible people, all together.
Sorry. I think I'm off by a minute. Let's try it right here.
The country has gone to hell because of it. It's gone to hell. But I want to thank Mexico. Because I went to Mexico.
This story of Trump negotiating with Mexico
We really have no choice.
is so good.
He said, send him back. There's a chance, send him back. Nobody wants to send anybody back, but you have no choice. This is not sustainable by any country, right? This is not sustainable. But we had Mexico, and we went to Mexico, and I said to the president of Mexico, good man, by the way, a very good guy, happens to be a socialist, but these are minor details. I said to him, Mr. President, we need you to give us 28,000 soldiers to guard the wall. He said, well, how much would you pay for that? I said, nothing. I'm not paying anything. You're sending them in. They're coming in caravans. You have to do it. And he smiled and he laughed. He thought it was funny. He thought it was like, I was kidding. I said, no. They're coming in through Mexico. We need 28,000 soldiers, free of charge. And he said, Donald, I cannot do that. I said, here's what you do. I don't want to embarrass you, so I'm not going to negotiate with you. Send me a negotiator. Give me a top negotiator. I want to see.
Oh, that's so good. Oh, this whole thing. This is one of my favorite stories ever told. I'm not going to embarrass you. Send in a negotiator. I'm showing you some mercy. Send in someone else.
And he came to the White House, a very handsome man, dressed in one of the most beautiful suits I've ever seen. In fact, I was going to ask him, who is your tailor? I'd like to buy one of those suits, but I didn't think it was appropriate to start the negotiation that way. And I said, you know that you're going to give us 28,000 soldiers, don't you? No.
You know that you're going to. You know this, right? You know you're going to?
Buy one of those suits, but I didn't think it was appropriate to start the negotiation that way. And I said, you know that you're going to give us 28,000 soldiers, don't you? No, we are not going to. We will never do that. I said, of course you're going to. 100%. He said, we're not going to. He said, no way. I said, way. You're going to give it. He said, 100%. And you're also going to have a new policy. It's called Remain in Mexico. Nobody can come into our country until they're free. And then you're going to have catch and release into Mexico. We have catch and release into our country. Even if they're criminals, we catch them, we check them, we see they're a criminal, we release them, we say, come back 5 years later, you'll have a court case. Nobody ever comes back. So I said to the State Department, and a wonderful woman, but a bad negotiator, I said to the State Department, give me a top 10 list. Give me a top 10 things. I said to ICE and Border Patrol, give me a top 10. They gave me a top 10 list. And a lot of it had to do with all of the horrible disease that pours through. People that have highly contagious diseases are coming into our country at levels that we've never seen before. So many other things. And they gave me a top 10 list, but they laughed. They said, sir, they'll never do. We've been trying to get this stuff for 25 years. I said, if I were a betting man, I would bet you any amount of money. You'll have it very quickly. So this man comes in. I said, we want a policy, Remain in Mexico, Tijuana. Hundreds of probably the fastest growing city in the world for a period of a year. That place was loaded up with people. They weren't allowed into our country. And we had already built a lot of the wall, a tremendous amount, 571 miles. Without that, we couldn't have ever done this. And he said that we're not going to do it, sir. I said, you are going to do it. He said, we're not. I said, here's the story. I'm not going to mess around with you. I have to go. I have a very important meeting, much more important than this.
Okay, that's it. That's so... So it starts off with the president of Mexico. Listen, I'm not going to embarrass you. Bring in some other guy. He's in the middle of the meeting. This is what you're going to do. No way. Listen, I got to go. I have to go. I got a way more important meeting than this right now. Let's just wrap this up here. Oh, that's so good. Oh, my goodness.
And he said that we're not going to do it, sir. I said, you are going to do it. He said, we're not. I said, here's the story. I'm not going to mess around with you. I have to go. I have a very important meeting, much more important than this. I said, here's the story. You're either going to do it, it's Friday evening, or on Monday morning at 7 o'clock in the morning, we are going to put a 25% tariff on everything that Mexico sends into our country. And then 1 month later, if you don't do it, we're going to put a 50%. Then we're going to go 75. And because I'm a nice person, we're going to stop at a 100% tariff. And and I had it literally written. I'm saying, should I sign it or not? Am I going to waste the ink or not? Because I'll sign it right now. On Monday morning at 7 o'clock, you're going to pay up to a $100 tariff. He said, sir, I'd like to make a phone call. I said, I wonder who you're going to call. Let me guess, you're going to call the president. He comes back 3 minutes later. Sir, it would be our great honor to give you 28,000 soldiers free of charge. It would be our great honor to have a policy of Remain in Mexico. Anyway, we got all 10 things. It took about 10 minutes. It was not. And now the other day, did you see? Mexico said to crooked Joe Biden, we want $20 billion a year just for the privilege of negotiating with you. We want you to pay us. Did you see that? It was a little article. You hardly. There's a slight difference. Would you say? He would have never asked that. He would have never asked it. So he said they want 20 billion. 20 billion, not 20 million's a lot. They want 20 with a B, $20 billion a year, just for the privilege of negotiating with Mexico. And you would never get the things that they gave up, remain in Mexico. They gave up catch and release in Mexico. They gave up everything. They gave up everything. They did. They did give up the Constitution. Joe Biden.
That's him. Okay, that's so good. That's one of my favorite anecdotes he's ever shared.